I never realized the woman I married could hear my thoughts. Not until much later. Which is ironic, because for over a year I'd been criticizing her in my head almost every single day. A year and a half back, she married me to honor her grandfather's final wish. We'd been engaged since childhood. There was an agreement, after 12 months, we'd go our separate ways. She would find her way back to her first love. But when that first love, Lucas, learned she had married me, his pride sent him overseas in a fury. I should have been relieved. Instead, staring at my wealthy, beautiful wife, the kind who made a room feel smaller just by standing in it, I thought maybe I could win her over for real. That illusion lasted 6 months. Then her grandfather passed. Without hesitation, she called Lucas, told him to come home. When he did, I saw something I'd never seen in her before. The woman I knew for her frost, suddenly laughing, spinning in the hallway. And me, her driver for the day, was unlucky enough, or maybe lucky enough, to witness the dance. At the airport, I met Lucas for the first time. He was pale, fine-featured, almost fragile in appearance. I disliked him instantly. "Clara. Take his bag." Her voice was its usual cool. I took the suitcase without a word, stowed it in the trunk. The luxury sedan hummed as I drove, suspension smooth enough that the two of them could talk freely in the back. "Lucas, this whole year, I've kept my distance from him," she said, voice soft now. "We've been completely pure. I've been waiting for you to come back. So we can marry." The cold edge in her was gone. She sounded warm. Inviting. It felt like watching her become someone else entirely. Lucas smiled faintly. "I misunderstood you before. But now, I'll make you happy." Their voices were quiet. But in a car like that, I could hear every word. And in my head, I was thinking, at least wait until I'm not sitting right here as your actual husband. Traffic slowed. A sluggish car blocked the fast lane. I muttered under my breath, cut to the right without signaling, just as a green-plated electric car slid across from the far lane. Metal kissed metal. Tires shrieked. I fought the wheel, steadied it, until the other driver floored it again. The world tilted. The roof became the ground. Everything went dark. When I came to, I was still gripping the wheel. She was pinned in the back seat, Lucas sprawled outside the wreck. The police pulled us out. We walked away with bruises. No real damage. And then it hit me. She made more than $4 billion a year. Half of it, by law, was mine if we split. $2 billion. Just for signing papers. With that kind of money, why keep chasing her? I sat there, smiling to myself at the thought. A countryside mansion. 2,000 square meters. A college girl with a monthly allowance. My lips curled involuntarily. She caught the smile. Tilted her head. She shouldn't have known what I was thinking. But she did. Of course, I had no idea. "Listen," I told her. "I'm your legal husband. You want to run off with him? Not happening." In my head, I was screaming for her to just do it. Throw the black card at my face. Sign the divorce papers. Walk away with her golden boy. But Lucas reached for her shoulder. She stepped aside. He stumbled to the floor. Normally, she would have rushed to him. Not this time. "You're right," she said to me. "I'm still married. I'll be careful." Then, as if it was nothing, she called an ambulance and sent her assistant with him. We left him standing there, both of us silent. The whole drive home I couldn't make sense of it. This was the woman who used to mention divorce daily. Now she wouldn't even bring it up. I glanced over. She was smiling faintly, like she knew something I didn't. "You're still pretending, aren't you?" her eyes seemed to say. I snapped, "Aren't you going to check if he's okay? If he's missing an arm or a leg, that'd be even better." She didn't even look up from her phone. "Just bruises. Nothing serious, honey. Let's go home." Honey. She'd never called me that before. I gritted my teeth. "As long as I don't agree to the divorce, you'll never be with him." Her smile deepened. All right. I'll listen to you, honey. I'll keep my distance. And I won't divorce you. Now I was truly lost. This wasn't her script. Before I could speak again, she leaned closer, her perfume spilling into the air between us. Her arm hooked through mine. What do you want for dinner tonight? She murmured. Should we eat first, or eat me? The cold, untouchable woman I thought I knew, gone. And whatever she had become, was enough to make my bones go soft. Maybe the problem was me. Maybe my performance wasn't convincing enough. If I wanted to sell the role of the scheming husband, billions on the line, I needed to be unforgettable. The kind of villain people whispered about with clenched teeth. Back at the house, I claimed the bathroom as my retreat. She told the maid to start dinner. Cold water hammered down, sinking straight through to my bones. I still couldn't figure out how the script had flipped so fast. Sweetheart, done yet? Her voice floated through the door, sweet and soft on the surface, but with a weight beneath it. You're usually finished in 5 minutes. It's been 40. My skin prickled. Something was off. If I didn't figure it out, my $2 billion payday could vanish before it even reached my hands. The sliding door whispered open. A hand, slender, pale, crossed the threshold first. Then her. White shirt. Black stockings. Nothing else. Danger. The cold beauty I knew would never walk in like this. This was bait. A trap. She'd tempt me, accuse me, and cut the divorce settlement to dust. Stay sharp, Ethan. Don't trade the whole forest for one tempting tree. A sudden ringtone cut the air. I turned my head just enough to see her phone light up. Perfect. Who's calling at this hour? I barked, slipping into my villain act. Tell them to hang up. Inside, I was grinning. Lucas's name was glowing on the screen. Let her go to him. I'd take my quiet win. She hesitated, then answered. Through the echo of tile and water, his voice trembled on speaker. Clara, my wound hurts. The hospital's so cold tonight. Could you come? Go to him, I thought. Go now. She stood silent, considering. I decided to fan the flames. What's he calling you for at this time? Am I dead? Tell him to disappear. A pause. Then Lucas's voice again, softer, almost breaking. I'm sorry for interrupting you too. It's fine. Even if I catch a cold, or worse. I'll manage. I had to admit, the man knew how to work the tragic act. We could have been co-stars, the obsessive lead and the rich, rotten husband. Her frown faded. She stepped closer. Close enough for me to see every detail of her skin. And then, without warning, she kissed me. My first kiss. Stolen. Before I could speak, she pressed a finger to my lips. Don't talk yet. Her voice iced over as she lifted the phone again. Mr. Lucas, my husband and I are busy right now. The hospital arranged a caregiver for you. If you need more, we'll send them. Lucas coughed, voice shaking. It was my fault from the beginning. But if you're this heartless now, maybe I deserve it. Just remember, only when the sky collapses and the rivers dry will we part again. That's what you said before you sent me away. I almost felt something for him. Almost. Pushing her hand aside, I growled, stay away from me with your little seduction tricks. I've been with more women than I can count. This won't work on me. She only gave me that sly, corner-of-the-mouth smile. Mr. Lucas, take care. My husband and I have more pressing matters. She hung up before he could answer. Then she turned those eyes on me, warm with challenge. So, you're a master with women? Show me. She leaned in. I leaned out. You think I don't know? You play the Ice Queen all year, and suddenly you're this. It's a setup. A way to claim coercion and cut me out. Still, my mouth said, all right. You've got my attention. Close your eyes, and I'll show you. The moment her lashes dropped, I slipped past her, grabbed clothes, and escaped downstairs. The maid greeted me politely. Young master, dinner's ready. Please call young madam. I sat, expression blank, waiting. She came down minutes later in silk pajamas, sat across from me like nothing had happened. Eat, honey. You've lost weight. The maid uncovered the dishes. I stared. Kidneys. Ginseng. Oyster platters. Chive eggs. Sea cucumber soup. What was this, an energy overload ambush? I was still a virgin, and she was trying to turn me into a walking pressure bomb. I played it safe. Only ate the chive eggs. Her smile never left. Later, I locked the bedroom door. But her scent was still in my head. Sleep twisted into a reel of her in poses I couldn't shake. By morning, I opened the door to find her waiting, faint shadows under her eyes. She hadn't slept either. Let's go see if Lucas is still alive, I said flatly. She glanced at me. There's a charity gala tonight. Don't be late. Lucas will be there. I'd planned to refuse. Give them space. But the thought hit my single-core brain like lightning. I'd been thinking about it all afternoon. Letting them sneak moments alone wasn't enough anymore. Tonight, at the charity gala, I'd make sure Clara regretted every second of it. If I could humiliate her in front of the right people, maybe she'd finally give me what I wanted. Clara stopped ahead of me in the corridor, heels clicking to a halt. Remember, you have to come tonight. Her voice was even. I smiled without showing my teeth. Oh, I'll be there. And Lucas? He'll be leaving in pieces before the night's over. Then you'll do what you always do, rush in to shield him. And maybe that's when you'll tell the world we're done. By the time the lights of the hotel spilled across the street, the night felt too warm for the jacket I wasn't wearing. I walked into the ballroom in plain sportswear. Everyone else was polished, men in tailored suits, women in gowns cut to catch the light. I knew I stood out. That was the point. No one here needed reminding that I was still, technically, Clara's husband. She appeared not long after, all elegance and precision, the soft gold of the chandeliers catching in her hair. Lucas walked beside her like he belonged in every photograph. Together they looked untouchable. Ladies and gentlemen, the host's voice cut through the low music, please take your seats, the charity gala will begin. Introductions were made. Names and titles I didn't care about. Then the host's smile widened. A little surprise tonight, a quiz for charity. Get a question right, you donate 10,000. Get it wrong, 50. Perfect. A public stage, a willing audience. I could make Clara's disappointment visible. The most expensive watch in the world, the host read. My hand went up before anyone else's. The microphone was warm in my palm. A waiting watch, I said. Because the longer you wait, the more it costs you. Laughter rippled through the room. The host grinned. Incorrect. That'll be 50,000. I glanced toward Clara, slow enough to make it sting, then stayed near the stage. Largest island in the world? Lucas's hand twitched upward, but I caught his wrist mid-rise and stepped into the light. Pizza Island, I said. Every slice its own country. Lucas's jaw flexed. He leaned toward Clara, voice low but audible. He's not letting anyone else play tonight. I gave them a look that said I heard. The spotlight slid across them, maybe by accident, maybe not. The host kept going. In Chinese legend, what river separates the cowherd and the weaver girl? Lucas raised his hand, ready to answer with perfect poise. I moved faster, taking the mic. The river of the underworld. Lucas's teeth showed in something that wasn't a smile. Ethan, you're making a fool of yourself. Clara's face stayed unreadable. That was fine. I wasn't finished. Next came fill in the phrase. Pain, something. Flow, something. Silence. All eyes on me. I zipped my jacket to my chin. Painless abortion. The host froze. Let's move on. More questions came, each one another chance for me to answer with a straight face and words that made the room split into shocked laughter. Clara's friends were doubled over. Then, hi, something. Nothing, something. Lucas raised his hand again. I tilted his chin up with my palm, shutting his mouth for him. The host smoothed his expression. Mr. Ethan enjoys his jokes. Jokes. Right. When the next question involved thick, I opened my mouth. I'm talking about my. Clara's hand clamped over it before I could finish. She dragged me away from the stage. Her grip was steel. Halfway through the cocktail hour, Clara wouldn't let me out of her sight. As long as I stayed, Lucas didn't get his moment. Eventually he cracked. He walked up to us, his tone soft for her ears. Clara, come to the balcony with me. We should talk. Her eyes flicked over him. If you have something to say it here. Perfect wife act. I cleared my throat. Maybe it's private. I know a quieter place. I led them down a side hall to a small conference room. Pushed her inside, let him follow. Closed the door, almost. Left a crack. If Clara had guessed my plan, she was hiding it well. Either they'd sit there stiff as statues, or Lucas would lose his self-control. And if he did? I'd be ready. I'd planned every step. Record them, capture proof, then file for divorce with the perfect case. If Clara was the one at fault, maybe the settlement would climb. $3 billion wouldn't be out of reach. Morality? That was just a word people used when they were losing. No rules, no limits, as long as the law didn't catch me face to face. I wanted every penny I could squeeze, no matter how dirty the hands got. No fear of loss. Only fear of missing the shot. Try hard enough, and a bicycle becomes a motorcycle. Take a bigger chance, and that motorcycle becomes a Range Rover. No luck, no fortune. No risk, no gain. Whose child cries every day? Whose gambler loses every day? The moment Lucas stepped inside, the game changed. His voice low, steady. Clara, you know my feelings are constant, like the sun and moon. Clara cut him off, sharp as a blade. If you're here to drag up old stories, we can end this right now. Through the crack in the door, I watched Lucas's smile fade. His first play didn't land. He switched tactics. Clara, maybe you don't know, but Ethan's been seeing other women. Using your money to fool around. Lucas slid his phone toward her. Pictures, videos, I guessed. I thought, if only Lucas had real proof. But I haven't touched a woman in months. How could I be cheating? Still, I'd take the fall if it meant a clean divorce. Clara's voice rose, fierce and cold. My husband's under a lot of pressure. Going to a bar to unwind is normal. He's worked hard all his life. What's wrong with paying attention to a few models? Lucas frowned, pressing play on a video. It's not just that, Clara. Look, he kissed a girl in the VIP booth. What kind of decent man does that? I swallowed. There was truth in Lucas's words. Clara wouldn't let me touch her, so I went out to relax. I talked, held hands. Okay. I touched her thigh once. Clara's eyes flicked toward the door. I stepped back fast, heart pounding. Almost caught. But what was I afraid of? I was a sinner. Shameless and corrupt. I crept closer to peek again. Our eyes met through the crack. Clara's gaze was half-lidded, warning without words, wait until we get home. I'll deal with you then. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Lucas pour powder into 2 glasses. Half a glass of red wine each. Clara, since you're so stubborn, I won't push anymore. Drink this. Let's call it even. He handed her the glass. I thought, Lucas is playing dirty. Drugs now? No matter if they drank it or not. As long as they stayed alone in there. Something would happen. Emotions would crack open. And I'd have the proof. The video. The divorce. A few billion? No problem. Ha ha ha. From my hiding spot, I saw their profiles only, but Clara's brows knit tight. She handed the glass back to Lucas, calm but sharp. I'll swap with you. Lucas's lips curled, half a smile, no hesitation. They switched glasses. Clara lifted the glass, her fiery red lips hovering, about to drink the drugged wine. Inside, I was thrilled. Lucas must be used to this dirty work. Both cups were poisoned. Either way, if something happened later, Lucas wouldn't lose. And I'd heard those things could spice things up. But Clara froze. Her hand slipped. The glass shattered on the floor, crystals scattering like broken promises. She glanced at Lucas, guilt flickering. Sorry. My hand slipped. Our past feelings, like this glass, broken, beyond repair. What a sin. Clara did it on purpose. Heartless. Not even willing to drink the last wine from the man who once loved her. I thought, I was almost on the edge of millions. Lucas blinked, stunned. Then clenched his teeth, deciding. He downed his wine in one hard gulp. Clara, do you know I've loved you all these years? Even when your family said no, I chased you like a moth to a flame, unrelenting. Now that old man is gone, you regret it? No. I won't accept it. Clara froze, then snorted cold. Don't think I don't know what you want. Your Edo group's drowning in debt, over 80%. Bankrupt soon. Marry into the Liu family, clear your debts, start swallowing their assets. Your private life? A mess. I know. I've rejected you over and over, yet here you are, pushing your luck. Let me be clear, you're 1,000 times worse than Ethan. I love him. I will never divorce him. I saw it. She never drank the wine. Why lie? I don't have feelings for her. Divorce me already. Forget 4 billion. Just give me back the 2 billion I gave you before. Clara turned to leave. Lucas's face flushed crimson. His eyes bloodshot. I was still watching from the crack in the door. She didn't see me. I pulled out my phone, started recording. 2 seconds later, Lucas lunged. A silk scarf appeared from his suit pocket. He covered Clara's mouth and nose with it, dragging her deeper inside. Her eyes went wide. She struggled, hands pushing, desperate. The room was dim. I couldn't see her full expression, but I knew the fear. It's not mutual. 2 billion. I clenched my teeth. Stomped my foot hard. 2 billion my ass. I can't stand watching a woman get hurt. I kicked open the door with force, shouting, "Stop." Then I sprinted in and delivered a side kick. Thankfully, I was wearing sportswear, otherwise, I might have seriously hurt myself. With one hit, I sent Lucas flying about a meter away. He stared at me, eyes wide with fear. "How are you here?" "You, just now." I glanced over at Clara. She looked dazed. I walked up and slapped her. She snapped back instantly, rubbing her stinging cheek and glaring at me. I clenched one fist and pointed at Lucas with the other, yelling, "You dare, scoundrel? In broad daylight, you try to molest a decent woman." Clara smirked and said, "It's nighttime." Her sarcasm hit me like a splash of cold water, but it didn't matter. The one who looked most embarrassed right now was Lucas. People outside had heard the commotion and were flooding in. Within seconds, Clara had fixed her clothes and calmly dialed the police. From her call, the onlookers quickly pieced together what was happening. The sharper ones started turning on Lucas, and the Edo group behind him. I, the so-called hero, suddenly felt kind of useless. Then a small hand grabbed mine and began pulling me away. I looked down. It was Clara, still clearly furious, and who had taken the wrong medicine. We walked in silence. I thought, she's like a ticking bomb. Best not to set her off right now. That slap I gave her. Damn, it felt good. I didn't hold back, and now the red handprint was already swelling. Is she going to come after me later? Wait, I did it to save her. I slapped her awake from the drugs. The law says if someone causes non-lethal injury while saving another, they're not held accountable. Even if she drags me to court, I'm covered. Clara coldly snorted. You enjoyed slapping me, didn't you? I was speechless. How does she read minds? I was just thinking that, and she called me out. But this round, I'm winning. The old saying goes, if you have facts, go to court. If you don't, call the police. If you have neither, go to the media. I have both facts and reason. What's there to fear? I said, how can you say that? You don't know how dangerous it was. If I hadn't slapped you awake, you might have started tearing your clothes off. I painted the scene with dramatic flair. Clara glared. I was drugged with sleeping pills, not aphrodisiacs. Why would I tear my clothes off? And you were watching from the door, enjoying the show, weren't you? I was shocked. How can you slander me like that? I thought, damn. She knew I was spying. No way I admit it, I'd be stuck in jail forever. I'll have to lie a little more. There's still a chance to make it home for New Year. I stammer, trying to argue back, listen to my defense. No, wait, listen to my explanation. I was just passing by, saw a crack in the door, got curious, took a quick peek, and happened to see this scene. Without wasting any time, I rushed in with a heroic eagle strike move to save the beauty. If you don't appreciate it, fine. I should have just stayed out of it. After saying this, I turned away with a downcast look and stared out the window. I thought, no, I've got to hold it together. Think of something sad or I'll burst out laughing. Right, my $2 billion is gone, one wave of beautiful college girls after another, the laid-back country life is gone, boo-hoo-hoo. A sudden wave of melancholy crashed over me. The old poet was right, how much sorrow can one heart hold? It's like a river flowing east endlessly. The more I thought about it, the worse it felt. My nose started to sting, I was almost about to shed a tear. Clara's voice softened as she said, okay, don't feel bad. I misunderstood you. How about I make it up to you tonight? Hearing make it up perked me right up. I hurriedly said, I don't need much, just a couple billion will do. Clara bit her silver teeth for a moment, then her expression shifted. A smile lit her eyes as she said, I can offer something even more precious than that. I guarantee you'll be satisfied. I thought, this woman doesn't want to get something for free, does she? She doesn't look like a good person. Back home, I slipped quickly into my small guest room. After washing up, I started planning my grand future. In my phone's memo, I wrote down what I'd need to take when I returned to the countryside. Suddenly, a fragrant breeze drifted in, and a soft, fluffy hug pressed against my back. I turned to find Clara somehow already wearing a short bathrobe, leaning against me. The robe was perfectly modest, just enough coverage. Any more, and it'd be inappropriate. Any less, and it would drive a man crazy. She whispered, we've been married for so long, and we still haven't had our wedding night. Clara was close now, her cheek brushing against my ear. I quickly turned off my phone screen and said, What are you doing? We're husband and wife. What's wrong with just talking things through? No need for physical actions. Clara snorted. If you don't cooperate, I'll sue you, say you're trying to force yourself on me. And the minimum sentence would be 3 years. I quickly pushed her away and said, you're twisting the facts. Clara took a small step and sat on the armrest of the sofa. She said, so, who do you think they'll believe, you or me? I thought, I'm screwed. Looks like tonight I'm going to lose all dignity. How am I supposed to divorce now? Damn it, a real man can bend and stretch. I'll take this humiliation for now and someday get my revenge. Fine. Tomorrow, I'll go to the hospital and figure out a way to make myself infertile. Then I'll take her for a checkup. Clara will definitely divorce me. With that thought weighing on me, I reluctantly gave in to her and endured a storm of passion. The next day, I looked up male contraception methods online. The most common was a vasectomy, but there were also oral male contraceptive pills, though they weren't available locally and I'd have to order imported ones. I quickly dragged a friend to help buy them. Over the next few days, I kept finding excuses to avoid confronting Clara directly. Half a month later, the medicine finally arrived. Since Clara had opened up sexually, she now wanted me to pay my dues 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. No one could endure that. A few days ago, I kept rejecting her. Tonight, I was going to reject her again. She was bound to explode. Holding the medicine, I was preparing to take it. I thought, one pill lasts for 3 months, and this box is enough for 2 years. If I can't get her pregnant in 2 years, Clara will definitely think something's wrong. Then we'll go for an exam and my divorce payout will be mine. The next second, a female voice suddenly called out, "Honey, what are you doing?" I jumped. The pill slipped from my hand, and I quickly bent down to pick it up. She asked, "Honey, are you looking for something on the floor? Is it this?" Clara bent down and handed me something. I looked at the pregnancy test strip with 2 red lines and froze. I asked, "What is this?" Clara helped me up and said, "It's normal that you don't understand. This is a pregnancy test. 2 lines mean you're pregnant." I was so shocked that I took a step back, and I felt like I stepped on something. After a brief moment, it must have been the pill. It seems it's already useless now. I was devastated and thought, it's over. The duck that was about to land has flown away. I should have thought of this earlier. Damn Clara, she was supposed to be this cold, reserved beauty, but now she's like a wild horse constantly extracting juice from me 3 times a day. Of course she's pregnant. The next day, I took Clara to the maternity checkup. Before long, it was our turn to go in. The results were normal. Taking advantage of the situation, I hurriedly asked the doctor, "Doctor, is it safe to have sex while pregnant?" The doctor shot me a glare and said, "Not in the first 3 months or the last 3 months." I asked hopelessly, "So the middle 4 months are fine?" The female doctor stood up, glared at me, and scolded, "Hey, even though your wife is pretty, she's pregnant. What the hell are you thinking?" I immediately felt relieved, turned to Clara, and said, "Did you hear that? The doctor said it's not safe." Clara pouted and said, "Oh, okay. I won't push you, but we'll settle the score later."